Okay, happy birthday, England. So we're going to do, for once, I've never done a positive thing, so I hope this goes well. So
You don't know how to... It's his first time,
It's
everyone.
my first time being positive, guys. So, please bear with me. But England had its birthday recently on, I would say, the 12th of July. I think that should become some kind of holiday or something, because it isn't. Where 927 AD, which is its 1098th birthday after King Ethelstan, not Stein, the grandson of Alfred the Great, defeated its rival kingdoms such as the Great Heathen Army, the Vikings and the Danes, the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, to unite them, including Mercia, East Anglia, Northumbria, Kent and Sussex. And so I thought it would be really fun and appropriate to celebrate, obviously, England and its biggest achievements that have changed the world from this tiny country. So I've only got 10. It's quite a lot, but I think we can get through it. Anything you want to add, anything you want to correct, just in case I've got anything wrong, be ready.
There'll be history buffs in the comments, I've no doubt.
They'll be there ready with the keyboard, so all is good. So the first one I thought we could celebrate is common law. Very big. Laid the foundation for modern legal systems in over 80 countries. Rooted in precedent and rights, common law is England's legal legacy, foundational to justice systems in the United States, Canada, Australia, and beyond. And common law originated in England after the Norman conquest of 1066 under William the Conqueror, where he unified diverse local customs into a national legal system. Common law is a judge-made law. Courts rely on previous rulings to decide current cases, creating a consistent, evolving legal system. Now, I say this with a really tight smile because we know what the country's going like at the minute, and we recently had the news that they want to give. Is it juries as well?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's good personally. And unlike civil law, used much in Europe, common law isn't based on a codified set of statuses, but evolves through judicial decisions. So I think that's something to really celebrate from England.
Yeah, I entirely agree with you. It's although, as you say, it's one of those things that, well, actually, to come back at you on what you were saying, that about, obviously there is concern about what the future of the common law, of course, is, but the nature of it being decided by precedent that's a great victory when you look at things such as Shamima Begum being made stateless, right? If we're talking about precedent, that's a pretty good one for the future.
And you do get some people that do actually take the common law stuff. I do recommend looking into it. It's quite a grey topic for myself, but it's a topic that I think is very important. Some people, though, have taken it and gone a bit too far with it. Don't go to a bank, take out all money, buy a Ferrari, then leave it on your drive and say, common law, don't do that, please. Don't advocate for that. But that moves on to the next part, which is Magna Carta. Which, let me just bring that up. Magna Carta of 1215. Very important. The first document to limit the power of the crown under law. It birthed constitutionalism and inspired the United States, once again, the Constitution, the UN charters, and what you think of them now, global human rights movements, when they used to be good.
So what you're saying is the Magna Carta was a mistake.
You could say that.
It's actually, so there's, from what I understand, there's 4 surviving copies of the Magna Carta.
Yes.
And I've had the privilege of seeing 3 of them.
Really?
There's
awesome.
the 2 in the British Library, one in Salisbury Cathedral, which is the one I haven't seen, and the one at Lincoln Castle.
That's awesome.
And when you just stare at that, and there is something truly like, well, they
magical,
actually,
man.
Yeah, 800-year-old piece of parchment, and it's quite extraordinary. Also, one thing as well about the Magna Carta as well is the fact that it also spawns from there was a charter by Henry I as well, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, forgive me. Again, perhaps someone in the comments will. But really, it's about trying to keep the spirit of the ancient English freedoms intact.
Yes.
Right? Those ancient liberties of the English that were just taken as a given back in Old England before the Norman conquest, now codified, so that the Norman class is also, well, the Norman king. Also, just one more thing to say about the Magna Carta as well, just from a historical point of view, which is that if John wasn't such a terrible king, right, if John was just mediocre or a little bit crap, right, we probably wouldn't have it. Right, it took something truly terrible. It took a true tyranny.
Yeah.
To
bring
gain
something like that.
Quite
and that's something to be said, I would say. That's something to be said.
It's a lesson for all ages.
It's a lesson for all ages, exactly. And England has been through terrible times, up and down, throughout its history. So that's why I'm always optimistic, considering civil liberties, mass migration, culture, heritage, all of these topics in 2025. It's never too late. So I'm always optimistic. I know it's easy to get black-pilled. No black-pilling. So, everything will be fine, I think, in the end. I've got here written down, King John of England was forced to sign the Magna Carta by rebellious barons at a meadow called Runnymede near the River Thames. It wasn't meant to be a founding document, but was a desperate compromise between a weak king and angry nobles, meant to avoid civil war. Clause 39 famously states, no free man shall be seized or imprisoned except by the lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land. And this planted the seed for the rule of law, that even monarchs must obey legal limits. I know.
Now.
I know. The prince... Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say as well that so John, when he originally gave this his seal back in 2015, he had no intention of honouring his word. He was basically sure that the Pope would annul it for him. And then, of course, when Pope Innocent III did void Magna Carta, well, it wasn't me, it was
it
the
wasn't
Pope,
me.
right?
Yeah.
That's where, enter Sir William Marshall. To go back to the earlier segment, if we're talking about knights of the realm, Sir William Marshall is the greatest knight who ever lived. Right, his story, his history. Bo did an epox on him. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
But he is one of my favourite people in all of English history.
Yeah.
He lived the most extraordinary life. He served 5 different kings of England.
That's awesome.
He lived to be about 72. Wow. He went on crusade. He fought in... He was the veteran and victor of over 500... against 500 opponents in tourneys and melees. He was honestly... And, the guy who is really responsible for why we still have the Magna Carta now.
Wow. And
saved us from a French invasion. So he was basically... the perfect man, the perfect knight.
That's awesome. I need to look into that. I didn't know about that. Habeas corpus came
I've
from
heard of it.
The idea that you can't be imprisoned without being charged traces back to Clause 39 and its focus on lawful detention. It became a symbol of liberty worldwide though written for elite landowners. Magna Carta evolved into a global symbol of freedom, inspiring revolutions, reforms, and movements from England to America. The next one, it's a pretty obvious one, the English language. I think it matters so much, the English language, being biased. Sorry about that. It is the dominant language of science, diplomacy, trade, media, and the internet.
And God. God spoke English. I don't make the rules.
Laughing out there as well. Rooted in Anglo-Saxon, enriched by empire, solidified by cultural reach. So, spoken by over 1.5 billion people. English is spoken by around 20% of the global population around, either natively or as a second language. It's the most widely learned second language on Earth, The language of the internet as well, like I've mentioned. Over 60% of all online content is in English. Domains, programming languages, social media terms, all shaped by English. If you
And
want to
one day, space.
And one day, space. Can you imagine?
Like in Star Wars, everyone speaks English.
Yeah, exactly. 95% of scientific papers today are published in English. 95%. And even in Anglophone countries, researchers must publish in English to reach a global audience. English has absorbed thousands of words from Latin, French, Norse, Greek, Hindi, Arabic, and more. That's why it's so flexible, adaptive, and easy to borrow from a linguistic empire in itself. So a big one, something to celebrate.
And also, it just has to be said, beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Right, we have a genuinely beautiful language.
I don't mean, yeah, you got 10 quid, bruv. I mean like the old New King James or King James style poetic.
Right. A Charles Dickens novel.
Yeah.
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Tennyson.
Although I do like the word quid, to be fair.
It's a
It's a good work.
I'll give you that.
The next one, the Industrial Revolution. Transformed global production, society, and economics. England was the birthplace of the steam engine, although he was Scottish. Was it? So what? So it doesn't count? Leave it in there. Mechanised factories and railways sparking the modern age. England was the first country to industrialise. By the early 1800s, England became the first industrialised nation, shifting from agrarian work. Said that correctly, have I? Agrarian? Don't know why brain just went then. Worked to mechanise factory labour at an unprecedented scale. The textile industry, as well, a big one, was the first to mechanise, using inventions like the spinning jenny, water frame, and power loom. England became the world's workshop for cotton goods, and England moved production out of cottages and into centralised mechanised factories, birthing modern capitalism and wage labour. England's rich coal seams powered the revolution, fueling steam engines, metalworking, and home heating. The phrase "dark satanic mills" comes from English poet William Blake, describing the industrial cities of the North.
Yeah,
honourable mention.
They, I am the North. It's Captain North.
Love it. Railways were invented in England in 1825. England launched the first public railway, the Stockton and Darlington Line. In 1830, the Liverpool-Manchester Railway became the first modern intercity railway, and this sparked a global industrial revolution where France, Germany, the US, and Japan followed England's lead, importing English machines, engineers, and methods, and we still can't get them to bloody go on time.
No, and then the rest of the world proceeded to
and then you look
surpass
at
us.
Japan with their bullet train. I mean, thank you.
And we got HS2.
Nice. Yeah, and which isn't even been built. Next one, literature and theatre.
Well, yes,
has to be said. Profound global cultural influence from Hamlet to Lord of the Rings. Massive, big fan of Lord of the Rings. Incredible. I know you've done a lot of work on it. That's why I wanted to give a good nod to
I'm something of a Tolkien fan myself.
England's literary canon shaped storytelling, language, and moral imagination worldwide. Shakespeare is the most influential writer in human history.
Rightly so.
His works have been translated into over 100 languages. He introduced over 1,700 new words and phrases into English, including eyeball, bedroom, lonely, and break the ice. The Globe Theatre was the world's first mass entertainment venue, built in 1599. It brought drama to the common man and theatrical revolution, where nobles and peasants watched the same plays side by side. Isn't that nice? And the English novel was born in the 18th century. Writers like Daniel Defoe and Samuel...
Robinson Crusoe. Yeah.
That's it. And Samuel Richardson, Pamela... helped invent the modern novel, a new form of storytelling focused on the individual psyche. King James Bible, honourable mention, shaped English style. Commissioning England, its majestic, poetic phrasing influenced centuries of literature, rhetoric, and religious thought too. But you could name so many. I've got a list here. William Blake, like we've mentioned, William Wordsworth, Charles Dickens, George Eliot, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bram Stoker, Jane Austen, George Orwell, Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, my favourite. The list goes on and on.
They do. No, honestly, it's absolutely extraordinary. The number of writers, famous English writers.
Yeah.
It's very helpful for me as a presenter on a show called Chronicles. Just going through pieces of literature.
Awesome.
It's going to be inexhaustible.
Yeah.
But
it's like never ending.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. The next one, football, not soccer. I want to say that.
Well, to be fair, I'm opting out of this one.
You're opting out of this one.
I've never been a footy fan.
Fair enough.
So I'll let you represent.
It is the world's most popular sport. Undeniably. Even if you don't like it or you're not a fan, I've gone off it personally, but I still do watch the World Cup. Codified and spread globally from England, it became a universally cultural language, one of the few shared global rituals, which is awesome. The Football Association, or FA, was founded in London in 1863, making England the birthplace of modern football. It was the first time the rules were standardised, separating it from rugby. The first match under FA rules took place in December 1863 between Barnes FC and Richmond FC in London. Soccer, this is where the term obviously came from association football, shortened by English public school boys in the 1880s, and ironically, Americans kept using it longer after the English dropped it. Just thought I'd say, do love my American brothers and sisters though. I think they're cool. I think they're awesome. The oldest football club in the world is English, which is Sheffield FC. Founded in 1857 and is officially recognised by FIFA as the world's oldest club still in existence. Pretty cool.
That's remarkable.
Very remarkable. And it was spread globally by the British Empire. Football was. So that's an honourable mention. British sailors, engineers, soldiers and merchants introduced football to Latin America, Africa, Asia and Europe, often before these regions even had nation states. And England played in the first ever international match in 1872 where they faced Scotland in Glasgow. The first international football match in history, and this became the seed of international tournaments and global football diplomacy, and it's watched by over 3.5 billion people globally, making it the most popular sport on earth.
That's astonishing.
Yeah,
I'm hearing these figures for the first time.
Yeah,
that is genuinely
pretty big.
I don't suspect it to be high, but yeah, that's incredible.
And the FIFA World Cup is the world's largest single sport event. So an honourable mention, considering it's English.
What's all this? Did England rig the result? I'm only hearing about this for the first time.
I just wanted to get the photo.
Is this Scottish propaganda?
It probably is. No, it wasn't rigged. Next one, very important one. The British Museum and the concept of public access to knowledge. So opened in 1759, it was one of the first national museums open to the public, and it set a global precedent for education and cultural access. And obviously people are trying to say that it's controversial because it was built through the empire, but enough of the naysaying. We're focusing on positives here. It was the first national public museum in the world, funded by Parliament and free to all for studious and curious persons. And a revolutionary idea in the 18th century. Unlike royal or aristocratic collections, the British Museum was open to the public from its earliest days, a move that helped democratise access to science, art and archaeology. Very important. The British Museum became the model for national museums worldwide, inspiring institutions like the Louvre. Is it Louvre? In Paris?
Le Louvre. I think,
yeah. Don't even pronounce it properly. Sorry about that.
This is about England, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I'll say Louvre if I want to, mate. The Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., And is it the Hermitage in St. Petersburg?
It may well be.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think that's
familiar.
how you say it.
Have you ever been to the Victoria and Albert Museum?
No, I
in
haven't.
London?
Actually.
That's my favourite.
not
That's
been
my
to
favourite in London. Yeah, if you haven't already, go to the Victoria and Albert. That's an astonishing display from
content there.
all over the world.
Some good content from that. Another very important one. The English public education system. It was the blueprint for mass education from England. Grammar schools, Oxford and Cambridge, and universal education policy were pioneering steps towards literacy and academic excellence. Grammar schools founded from the 12th century onwards. So a massive institution, very old institution, which offered classical education in Latin and theology to boys regardless of social class. Oxford, which was established in 1096, and Cambridge, established in 1209, became the intellectual engines of the English-speaking world, producing generations of scholars, clergy, scientists, statesmen, you name it. The tutorial system is of one-to-one or small group instructions, is still used, obviously, at Oxford and Cambridge, and is considered one of the most intellectually rigorous teaching methods globally. Very cool.
Very cool indeed.
Very cool. We're going full nerd in this and enjoying it. And from the 19th century onward, public schooling in England helped form a cohesive national culture, teaching history, patriotism, English literature, and Christian values.
Patriotism? Oh, they should bring that back. They should teach that again.
Yes, so we have the foundation there. Yeah. So why not use it? Number 9 is naval power and global trade. Very significant. We hear obviously about the British being one of the best navies in the world, so why not mention it? It set the terms of modern geopolitics and commerce. Through maritime dominance, England helped create a global trading system, spread capitalism. It does have its faults, I will say, but it lifted a lot out of poverty, so that's the positive there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And laid the foundations of the modern global economy. And in the late 1500s, England invested heavily in naval strength, defeating the Spanish Armada in 1588, a turning point that allowed English maritime expansion. Established by Henry VIII, the Royal Navy became the most powerful naval force in history by the 18th century, projecting English power worldwide. And England played a central role in shaping Admiralty law, still the legal foundation for international shipping and naval conflict today, and obviously beyond. And England created the first global trade network. Something to be proud of, I think. And by the 1700s, English ships connected Africa, the Americas, the Caribbean, India, China, and Europe, enabling the first true global economy. Something to be proud of, I think.
Well, and just not to mention, of course, those particularly famous and wonderful English explorers, like Sir Francis Drake, Captain Cook. These are some of the most famous heroes in all of English history. Right, and deservedly so.
Exactly.
Deservedly so.
Yeah. No blackpilling, please. And I thought I'd leave the most controversial to the end.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the British Empire, otherwise known as the English Project. Used to be, anyway. There is no desire... There's no denying... Let me start that again, excuse me. There's no denying that the British Empire was one of England's greatest achievements. There's just no doubt. You know, whatever your view is now, we can look back easily and, you know, pick out atrocities, which, fine. I actually don't have any qualms with that. If we should look at the bad and the good too. But to diminish it and say it's not one of the greatest achievements is denying history, in my view.
Well, to say that the British Empire was bad for existing,
sure,
right, or was evil because it was an empire, is fundamentally to not understand human nature. It's to misunderstand civilization, right? You, in history, going back to the Akkadians, right, you either ruled an empire or you became a part of someone else's, right? You were either conquered or you were a conqueror. And when you have an empire like Britain, it's very interesting to see how much of it in those early beginnings came about by accident, right? Especially when you've got a lot of the the Puritans and the religious minorities obviously leaving to the Americas, and lots of people. And then invariably what would happen, of course, they would grow and they would need some regulation. And so the British state will get involved. And then before you know it, and, people say, oh, Britain shouldn't have taken India. Just as one example of a country famously a part of the empire.
Raj.
You're right, the Raj. But before that, with the East India Trading Company.
Yes.
And obviously becoming really under Britain's sphere at the end of the 7 Years' War. It's like, oh, well, it was evil for Britain to conquer us. We should have been an independent India. There would never have been an independent India. India, as a collective ideal of a nation, did not exist in 1757, whenever it was. And you were either going to be under the British or you were going to be under the French, right? It's that simple. That is the hard reality of the situation back in the middle of the 1700s, right? And so they can lament that it existed, but it doesn't grapple with the reasons for why such a force would come to exist and needed to exist in the first place. And obviously as well, the British Empire is one of those empires that actually foresaw its own dissolution in the end, right? Even if some people might feel like its paternalism was misguided, it still actually saw its own end after providing a certain level of civilization to its colonies and other places in the world, which is, generally speaking, not the psychology of most empires at all. So, the British Empire was a remarkable achievement on behalf of England. But, of course, we don't just define ourselves by it, right? England is a much older nation.
Yeah, way older than that.
In the broad aspect of history, the British Empire represents about 250 years.
Yeah, exactly.
In a nation that, as you say, is nearly 1,100 years old, right?
Yeah.
So we've always been more than just an imperial power.
Exactly. Tiny bit of history. Obviously, there's not enough to cover when it comes to the empire. There's lots to obviously discuss. It was English sailors, merchants, lawmakers, and monarchs who launched it long before Britain even existed. And for centuries, that empire reshaped the world, from law and language to railways and representative government. It's become fashionable now, really, to apologise for the empire, with these calls for decolonisation, which we've been hearing for a long, long time now, even before we were born.
The king not being able to go to another foreign country without giving a land acknowledgement.
Oh my gosh. It was at Canada recently.
Yeah.
You see that?
I'm waiting for the English's land acknowledgement of England.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one. But we should recognise the immense legacy that England did leave behind. England began overseas colonisation in the late 1500s, founding colonies in Ireland in 1171, Virginia in 1607, and Newfoundland in 1583. The Acts of Union, 1707, created Britain. But by then, the empire was already spreading. English common law spread across the empire. The legal systems of Australia, Canada, India, the US, and Hong Kong all stem from English common law, not a pan-British code. Parliamentary democracy was an English export. The Westminster model, with elections, civil service, and a sovereign legislature, was exported from England to dozens of colonies. Railways, telegraphs, and infrastructure were English blueprints. The empire spread English technology, building rail networks in India, Africa, and Australia that still function today. Not so much, I think, in India. I think a little bit less. Perhaps not. The British Museum and the Imperial Archive were English creations. Institutions like the British Museum, 1759, and the Royal Geographical Society were founded in England to organise and study the empire. Scotland benefited from the Union. Just going to say it, but England still built the system. you loved it. I'm just going to say it. You guys loved it. You were overrepresented in the empire. Enough of this. You hate it. You hate it. Come on, guys. I love the Scots.
We
I
had a
think
hell of
they're
a
great.
time.
Yeah, and they were overrepresented because they were good. They were good at what they were doing.
They were
very good at what they were doing. So I don't buy this whole, oh, I hate it, I hate it.
Yeah, we were locked in the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and taken along for a ride.
Yeah.
No,
you loved it.
No, you called shotgun.
Yeah, you
actually.
called shotgun. Yeah, exactly. You loved it. Let's be honest here. You loved it.
Love you, Scots.
Yeah, we love you. After 1707, Scots became key players in the empire, but they joined an English system already in motion. The infrastructure, charter companies, navy and colonies were English built before Union. Even the critics used English tools. Anti-colonial leaders such as Gandhi, and I can never pronounce his name properly. Is it Nkrumah in Ghana?
Oh, I'm not familiar.
Were educated in English, trained in English law, and used English institutions to seek independence. The empire abolished the slave trade. England led the global abolitionist movement with the help of Christians, ending the transatlantic trade in 1807 and using the Royal Navy to enforce it at economic costs. So I believe Royal Navy Marines died a lot.
They did.
To abolish this trade.
Blockaded Brazil.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a large coastline.
Huge. Massive. Look, I want to end it on this. It is incredibly fashionable now to just hate England. And I get it. I have my qualms with my own country, the British state. I'm not happy. Obviously, it's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's why you guys do what you do here, because we love our country. We don't want to see it go to ruin. No. And it upsets me a bit. I'm getting a bit emotional, man. It upsets me to see it like go down this route. It really does. And
well, we still have. That's all right.
I don't know why. I didn't think that would happen, but
no, it is.
I have my criticisms. Obviously, we all do, of government and its predecessors. The bad parts of history. We have to tackle it on, obviously. But I do believe that this is something to be proud of.
It is,
and I want to keep that going. And we wouldn't do what we do if we just hated our own country, culture, history, and to just deny the empire's legacy and before that and after that. And to deny it, I think, in my view, essentially erases history.
I think you're entirely right. I mean, it really comes from a genuine sense of unconditional love, right, for the land and its people, right? Like I was this weekend, I visited Tewkesbury for the first time and went to the medieval fair there. And you just go to Tewkesbury and you just see all these exquisite medieval houses, right? And you really that's another thing about England, just the land itself, the landscape, its rolling hills, its rivers, its shrubs, its wildlife, its architecture, just the visual, splendor of England is genuinely unparalleled. It's a beautiful land, and I could never live anywhere else.
I'll die an Englishman, and that'll be it. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to Dubai like all the influencers. No. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not interested. I've lived and I've breathed in this country, and I'll die here. I don't care. Even if it means that it doesn't look like the England that I know and love, I don't care. I'll die here. That's it.
It's still the first ticket in the lottery of life.
Exactly, and I'm very grateful.
If you would like to watch the full uncut version that is also uncensored, head on over to lotuseaters.com to find out more.